Hi Sagittarius, this is your mid-January 2019 reading. Happy New Year to all my listeners. What a wonderful month this is, Sagittarius. We've got such beautiful energies for you, especially in the second half of the month. We've got Mars in your fellow sign Aries for the first time after 2 years. We are looking at our zest coming back. We are looking at our mojo coming back, our risk appetite to get what we truly love, whether it is in our personal life or in our professional life, that energy coming back, and you'll feel it very fervently in your body, in your physical energy, in your vitality, in your ability to do the things that you've been looking to do for a long time this month, especially in the second half of the month. If you are a December born Sagittarius, you'll feel this energy return to you, especially in the second half of the month, all the way to initial part of February. We have beautiful energies of Venus and Jupiter working together in your sign for the first time in 12 years, bringing certain opportunities, lucrative opportunities in your lap on 22nd of January, because you've been prudent, because you've been working hard, because you've put effort in them, and you have taken a risk on your talents to merge with certain talents, to merge with other people, to sort of give up your boundaries to some extent, even give up the old notion of who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to earn revenue. You have sort of given that up, and that is helping you merge with people both in your professional arena as well as your personal arena, and that is giving you certain lucrative opportunities at the end of the month. We are here to talk about the second eclipse, which is happening on 21st of January in your house of adventure. This is your fellow fire sign eclipse, the last eclipse happening in Leo on 21st of January, which will have an impact on you for the next 6 months. This is a power surge. This is very energizing, very inspiring. We are being propelled into a completely new direction in our life, a direction full of adventure, a direction full of excitement, a direction full of inspiration and new knowledge that is coming your way. And this has been in making. You've been trying to make it happen for the last couple of months, all the way to the last 1.5 years, when you have been trying to shift your professional destiny, when you've been trying to shift your skill set. You've been trying to create this new tools of growth for yourself for the last 1.5 years, and finally it is all coming together, and the first sign of success comes on 22nd of January, when we have Venus and Jupiter coming together for the first time in 12 years in your sign. Apart from that, we had the first eclipse that I talked about in a separate video during the eve of the new year, which happened on 5th or 6th of January. That was in your finances sector, and that is the theme of 2019, creating independence and further growth and solid foundation in your financial area, in your area of self-worth and net worth, will continue to be the theme of 2019. We'll have 3 eclipses during the course of the year in your house of financing, in your house of finances, resources, diet, as well as your nourishment, your physical nourishment. So we'll be looking at sharpening both our financial destiny as well as our physical health during the course of 2019, by feeding ourselves the right things, by taking care of our talents, growing our talents that will help us, support us in long term, as well as bringing the solid foundation. We are creating the solid foundations of our financial destiny in form of creating these revenue sources, these efficient revenue sources that will support you in long term. So this is the theme of what's happening in January. I'll talk about the first eclipse in your finances sector that happened on 6th of January as well, briefly in the second part of the video, but the large part of focus here is on the surprises that are coming, the beautiful surprises of adventure, of you merging with somebody, maybe on a romantic basis as well, as a result of the changes that are happening with Uranus meeting the North Node and South Node after 16th of January. So let's dig into the details of things. What a beautiful month. Good luck for that. starting from the start, we have 4 planets focused on your financial houses. They're focused on your material comfort. They're focused on your possessions, on your values, on your self-worth. We are creating certain revenue sources that will sustain you for a longer term. We are trying to create independence in your financial arena. But at the same time, there are certain ways of making money. There are certain sources of income that have to go away to make pathway for something that is more sustainable, that is more long term, that has more reality and legs to it. And that is what Saturn in your financial house is trying to do. It is trying to get rid of certain jobs, certain professions, certain sources of income that do not serve you well, that are creating dependencies that you don't need, and sort of pruning that list to a right side of career, right kind of revenue source that will sustain you in a longer term. But at the same time, Saturn is putting you in a hard place to some extent, even under pressure, asking you to create certain talents, certain things that will distinguish you from the rest and help you get to the next level in your financial destiny. And you have been at it for the last 1 year. It will continue to be there till 2020. But more importantly, this year, it's working with South Node to get rid of the old notions of how you're supposed to make money, what sort of talents you're supposed to known for. It is creating a new talent identity, a new financial identity for you by dissolving an old one. And the first eclipse infused this new energy into your financial houses to bring about certain opportunities over the course of next 30 days, and that will bring you to the next level in your financial destiny. Saturn is invisible during the course of January. It will only be visible on 5th of February. So the visibility, the clear visibility of the lucrative value of this new opportunity, this new job, this new responsibility, this new talent that you're creating will only come during the early part of February. Right now, you would feel that you need to work on something. Saturn is making you really work hard on this. There might be 2 or 3 jobs that you're working on. Saturn is asking you to focus on the one that makes the biggest, that get the biggest buck for the bank, essentially. It wants you to look at your boundaries of finances and your talents and sort out the ones that make most sense in the long term to focus on. Similarly, if you're, for example, working on multiple deals or multiple jobs, it wants you to focus on the specific ones that are essentially going to give you most value for your efforts. It's a great time to make a solid foundational financial base. It is a great time to invest or start a new business. It is a great time to being prudent in terms of our expenses and investing in the right places and creating more value of our existing assets by investing them, by sort of defining the plan for investment of them. You'll get great ideas of money generation. You'll get deep insights into how you can get more value out of your existing assets. And this is exactly the time to do that, especially till 24th of January. You have Mercury and Pluto working together, giving you deep insights into how you can make money, how you can create more value out of your talents, what you should be charging for your talents, what should be the way to create more value out of your talents. And that is an aspect that is exact on 18th of January, but you'll feel it in the second half of the month very, very strongly, and that will enable you to go into the details of documentation required for it. If you need to sort of prepare a term sheet or prepare anything that where you need to charge a person, or you need to prepare a rate sheet if you are starting a business of your own, or a proposal for a client, those kind of things, asking your true values, asking the value of your talent and sort of claiming the value of your talent. It is defining your personal worth, and in more terms than just the material possessions and the material value. It is defining your value in terms of your talents, in terms of your body, in terms of how you nourish yourself. It's asking you to define that. It's asking you to define how you mentally nourish yourself by sort of changing the set of values that we go by. Because there are certain dissolution aspects that are happening which are dissolving the old values and creating a new one. Because when Pluto is there, it asks us to get rid of the old way of thinking about ourselves, about our value, about the values that we live by. It is asking you to regenerate and purge the old way of being in terms of your self-respect, in terms of your self-worth, in terms of what you pegged you are capable of. It's asking you to aim higher. This happens only once in 29 years that Saturn comes in your net worth and self-worth area, and it is coming in the most productive sign that it can be. It is coming in Capricorn, so it will give the best results. If you put in the effort, if you start something, it will give you the best results. But Saturn will revisit this point of eclipse 3 times during the course of 2019. So the structure of generation of this revenue from this new source of income that you're probably starting will get modified. The rules of the game of how to earn more money out of that area, or how to get more worth out of your talent that you're creating, will change over the course of 2019. The first iteration, as I said, and the first visibility of a clear structure will come around 5th of February. The second will come around 1st of August, and the third one around 1st of November. These are phases in which you'll realize what kind of boundaries you need to create around your financial destiny, whether it is boundaries in form of boundaries with a partner who you're going in with, because as I said in your previous videos, the key to success in 2019 is to merge with a partner and do this together. Merge your talents with somebody and move together, either in a business area or even if you're in a career area. Joining forces with somebody will give you the biggest benefit. So defining the rules of the game in that partnership, redefining the rules of the boundaries in a business partnership, those boundaries will change over the course of 2019 as well, 3 times. And one of those is around 5th of February. Then what is, it could be at the personal level as well, defining the boundaries of finances with your marriage partner clearly. And Saturn would require you to do that. Creating your financial independence and creating such a security system for you so you are taken care of is also a theme of Saturn. And Saturn will give you the discipline, it will give you the psychological strength, it will give you the options, the strategy to make it all happen, to create a realistic structure, to manage your assets, to create this boundary around your assets, and to create sort of the personal wealth and values that you're looking to create. I think this is one of the most important themes of 2019, because you'll be having both North Node and South Node focused on your financial access. You will also be having Saturn, Pluto focused for the first time ever in your financial area. So finances will be definitely be a theme. Confidence, self-confidence, self-worth, your talents will be a key theme of 2019. And we have already spent the last 1.5 years creating those assets, creating those talents, creating those skill set, that knowledge. Now you're asking for the value of those talents. There are, apart from the first eclipse that happened in the initial part of the month, then there'll be 3 such eclipses in your finances area during the course of 2019, which will modify your financial destiny. But we also have 3 synods that are happening in January. And synods are these external planets that make these rare touch points. And every time these planets touch each other, they cause geopolitical events. They change the face of geopolitical flavor in the world. What is the most potent way of having a leadership? Should it be communism? Should it be democracy? What is more prevalent? Those kind of things, those are changed when synods happen, when phases of synods happen. But at our personal life, they modify the rules that we live by. And you have these 3 synods live throughout 2019, making their first contact in January. They'll make 2 more contacts during the course of 2019, one in the middle and one in the end of the 2019. They come in phases. The first phase is of seeding an idea, and and I'll talk about these synods briefly right now. The first synod is Saturn and Neptune coming together. It's a very beautiful synod. It is associated at a geopolitical level as an aspect that removes an old thought process, an old way of thinking, an old structure of governance, and it brings a new ideology into being, and it brings that ideology into touch it, feel it way. It makes it into a material way. So your ideology, instead of staying at 30,000 feet, becomes the part of your DNA, becomes a part of your living. It becomes a rule for you that you live by. So the ideology and the thought process by which you wanted to always live, that is becoming a reality. The idealistic way you thought a home and family should look like is what you're bringing into existence. And in order to do that, the old model of being in a family, of being in a home, of having that kind of security that you knew yourself for before, that has got to go. Now this is not an easy aspect for you, because Neptune will be squaring you, so there will be some amount of compromises, even, I'm sorry to say, but some amount of losses in personal life that you might have experienced to get there. But Neptune slowly dissolves the old structure to give way to the new ideology, which you can then implement in your foundations. So your fundamental values that you live by, the fundamental values by which you create a family structure, the fundamental values by which you create a security for yourself that you feel comfortable in, that is changing. And you're creating a new solid foundation that is based on these new value set, this new you that you're becoming. Now this will show up, of course, in your personal life, in your family life, in your family structure. It will change your family structure, especially if you have any planets around 14 to 15 degree of Sagittarius, which means you're born around 5th to 8th of November. You would see a massive shift in your way of being in a family, in your way of being in the home structure. But Saturn is enabling a new structure to come about right with it. It is giving you the tools to build the new family, build the new emotional structure, build the new sort of new structure of support for yourself. You're finding solace in something new while the old is dissolving. And what is required here is to stay sort of awake to this change, because we sometimes as I said, I'm sorry to say, but if there is a loss which happened as a personal level, we sometimes try to cover it up through various substances, through something else. But at this point in time, when Neptune is squaring you, your body, your aura is very, very nimble, because you're undergoing a big change in your life, especially if you have any planets around 14 degree, or if you're born between 5th to 8th of November, your aura is really thin. What does that mean? We need to be careful about the diet that we're eating. We need to be careful about any sort of chemical exposure in our body. There might be certain amount of chemical exposure that did not react before to you, but you might become more sensitive to that. For example, 4 glasses of wine did not impact you before, but now because of this aspect, they might be more potent for you compared to before. Similarly, there might be some drug, some sort of antibiotic that you might be taking, some sort of medicine that suited you well earlier, but they may not. So being careful about interacting any external chemicals with your body in significant amount. You need to be a little bit careful, because what was not so significant earlier might become significant now. So try the medicines and any chemical exposure in form of alcohol or any other substances that you might be using for enjoyment, because it's a risk-on month, and with joy comes some of these things. So just being careful about that. I'm sorry, I'm being realistic here. It doesn't mean we are not having fun, but from a diet perspective, we need to be a little bit careful. The second aspect that happens, the Saturn and Neptune aspect is known for dissolution of Berlin Wall. So communism was sort of dissolved when they first joined together in 1989, and there are 36-year-long cycles. So that gives you an example of the kind of ideology and the kind of longevity of that thought process, that it stays in the system. And ideology, when these two planets come together and they create, it stays for a very long time. Their conjunction will end on 2025 with the next strong meeting. That's when it is said at a geopolitical level that communism might come back into force, because it was dissolved when they met last in 1989. I am not a mundane astrologer, but I'm just letting you know the general thought process behind the synod. It takes an ideology, makes it into a rule. So the rules by which we are living by, the values by which we are living by and running our personal life, that is undergoing changes. The second thing, the second sign on is that your ruler Jupiter is meeting with Neptune in a hard aspect. This is excellent for adding creativity to your persona, making yourself nimble to changes, adding certain visionary ideas to you. The creativity is extremely heightened with this aspect. Again, if you have any planets around 14 degree, or if you're born between 5th to 8th of November, using those ideas, putting them down on the paper, sort of finding the practical way of bringing that out in your career or in your personal life is extremely good time to do that. You'll find certain lucrative ideas suddenly coming to you and using them. But at the same time, it indicates that there is some impediment, some personal problem that requires to be handled for you to gain fully, for you to fully realize your growth and your achievement, especially in your career area or in your visibility in the world. There is certain personal problem or a family issue or a dissolution in the family, some sort of slow dissolution that is happening in the family, that is a hindrance to you sort of coming out fully to the world in your full talents, in your full potential. There's something that is stopping you from doing that, and it is important to handle that, and this aspect will sort of force you to handle it because it is a hard aspect. You cannot ignore it. It will show up in some issues, some conflicts, some sort of hindrance that is visibly stopping you from, for example, it shows up in your body language, or it shows up in the way we are speaking, or in the way that we are expressing ourselves. There's something that is holding back. It could be self-worth issue, which I really doubt. Sagittarius normally do not have self-worth issue, but and with Jupiter and Venus there, you have nothing to hold back on. It's an excellent year for you with Jupiter in your sign. This is once in 12-year opportunity to expand. So this energy needs to be handled. This personal issue needs to be handled for you to sort of fully unlock the benefits of this once in 12-year opportunity that 2019 is for expansion. Last that Jupiter was in your sign was in 2007. You can look back what happened in 2007 and 8 for you. How did your life change if you are sort of old enough to look back at the time? But every year and every aspect and every decade is different. Our maturity level is different right now. But the advantage that this year offers is exactly the same, which is expansion of your overall experience, expansion of who you're becoming. So in order to become that person that you, this next stage, right, that you're getting to, this next stage of growth, there is an impediment in your personal life that you need to handle. That's what I wanted to say. Now this is involved, again, there's an ideological element to it. There's some way of thinking about yourself that needs to dissolve, that needs to go off. Now this is involved with the slow change in people's mindset about a philosophy. For example, this is engaged with the rise of Hitler as well as the rise of Roosevelt. These two planets are not discretionary with respect to what is becoming your new value. This is something that you will have to adhere to. You will have to check, and Saturn will make sure that your values are something that you can stand by for a long time for. These are not the values that are because somebody is cheating you or somebody is sort of dissuading you in a wrong direction. As I said, the ideology, I'm sorry to say that, but these are not discretionary planets. They don't tell you what is the right ideology. They just lower your boundaries so a new ideology can come in. This discrimination between whether that is right for you in long run, whether that is you truly in your core or not, are the things that you're doing true to your core, true to your values or not? Are the influences that are coming in your home and family, the influences that are coming in your life, are they true to your values or not? That is what this aspects, the downside of this aspect is, because this aspect is known for great for spirituality and expansion, but it is also very well known for trickster energy. So being careful of getting tricked into values which are not truly yours. The third aspect is that Jupiter is making a sesqui square with Uranus. Now, this is an aspect where we really want something. The enthusiasm is really high to get into a new situation, especially if it's related to some sort of risk that we are taking, because you have been trying to make this happen for some time. So the enthusiasm to make it happen, to bring this innovation in your romance, to bring this change in your romance, and to bring this change in the way you handle business, that enthusiasm is very high. But it is a very creative aspect, but there might be some frustrations at this stage. I'm sorry, I'm being realistic, that enthusiasm is high, but there might be some delays, some impediments for a windfall event to happen there. There are events that will happen in the second half of this month that will unlock your sense of taking this risk, the first step. But this mega event that your life suddenly changes in a moment kind of things, you'll have to wait for that. That aspect will happen on 15th of December when Venus and Uranus come together. That is a change in your financial destiny because of a important project that you have taken on, and that change is not at a small scale. That change is at a very big stage. So if your natal chart supports that, the aspect of 15th of December of a windfall event in terms of a very lucky, very fortunate, lucky break happening in your financial sector is something which is an excitement to look forward to. But this aspect essentially says that it is better not to be discretionary, and oversharing is not encouraged. Essentially being discreet in terms of what we share with others, in terms of this new risk we are taking in our personal life or in our business life, it's better that you take discretion in terms of sharing it at a wider scale, is what I'm telling you. So these are the three synods and the first eclipse. Again, these are not just January events. This is the theme of your 2019, especially the first 6 months will be colored by these. So now let's look at the things that are happening as a run up to the 21st of January eclipse, that is happening in your house of adventure, that is happening with a power surge, that is happening with a leap of adventure, a leap of faith. As we've been talking about it in the last couple of videos, we have Uranus very, very strong right now, because Uranus has just turned direct on 6th of January and it is making these major contacts with the karmic nodes. And Uranus is trying to create freedom in your life. It is trying to create innovation in your life, in your house of risk appetite. Your risk appetite, your ability to take risk both in your personal and professional life is undergoing significant change as a result of Uranus. It is trying to create more freedom both in your personal life as well as in your professional life by increasing your ability to take risk on your joy, to take more risk in life, to create more joy for you. And in case of finances, it's a calculated risk because Saturn is sitting in your financial sector, but at the same time, nevertheless, you have taken some innovative route of making money, whether it is in form of creating your own business or charging for your creativity or trying to create something that is away from norm, away from your previous way of making money. And Uranus essentially has opened the floods of creativity, opened the floods of romance, opened the floods of more joy in your life. And it is in the last phase of doing that. It is in the last phase of making these sudden changes that have happened in your life over the last couple of months. And it is going to be done with it on 6th of March. But before it is done with it, it is taking the last set of changes. It is making the last set of adjustments that are required by making the karmic aspect that is happening from 17th of January all the way till 21st of January when it is exact. That is a cardinal T-square. You'll feel this energy to break out of the current mold and do something which is taking more risk on your talents, which is sort of charging and asking people for the true value of your talents, and the result of that will be financial in nature. The result of that will be merging with somebody professionally or personally. You'll get the true worth of what you deserve essentially as a result of taking a risk on your talents, as a result of taking risk because you deserve more joy in your life, you deserve more freedom in your life. Sagittarius is a sign of freedom. It is a sign of higher knowledge. So the old situation was way too stale, that situation, that way of making money, that values that were holding you to ground and not letting your kite fly, they have to be broken. And this is happening at a very impulsive degree. Uranus has turned direct on 28 degree Aries, which is the degree of debunking the fake, release from the fake. If we were living a life that was essentially fake to us, where we were not enjoying ourselves, that was not giving us true joy, whether it is at personal level or professional level, Uranus has forced you to break that mold. Uranus has sort of asked you to take the bold step of breaking that old mold so you can create a new one. So this is happening, the south node, or the area where the something has to let go, whether it is the old way of making money or the old values that were instilled in you that have to let go. That is happening at 29 degree Capricorn. In symbolic astrology, it is represented as a dissatisfied, disheveled sculpture who throws a large clay mold of himself into a pond of water, and as he watches it dissolve, a new approach emerges. This person is done with looking at this fixated model of himself, which is outdated, that does not fit his new persona, and he's throwing that out, he's letting it dissolve. And while looking at that image dissolve, a new image emerges immediately. So it's not a aspect of loss, this is an aspect of letting go a life that you have outlived, that you have outgrown, a life that does not, it is like from inside we have shifted so much over the course of last couple of years. What is it in our external environment, especially our financial environment, our values, the core values by which we merge with other people around us, whether it is merging with a marriage partner or it is merging with a business partner, what does not jive well with it? Am I making money the way I want to? Am I charging for my creativity as I should? Am I getting the true worth of my talents? You are unlocking all of that, and what comes out of it, the result of that is a financial gain. So either this financial gain is in form of a sponsorship coming through, it is in form of an old relationship ending and a more intense, more karmic, more passionate relationship, a truthful relationship starting, or a new truthful partnership. There is the whole result of this is a bold action which is true to you, which is core to you. You're doing something, you're sort of confronting the issue head on and moving on with your life. You're transforming your identity by taking a very strong step here, and this is beautiful. This will help you. This is the theme of 2019, unlocking your creative flow and your romantic flow so you can get more value in your life and so you can get more joy in your life, was why we went through a lot of things over the course of last 2 years. The turmoil that you went through over the last couple of years was because we wanted to get here. So I would request you to enjoy this moment. This is exact for people who have any planets around 28 to 30 degree, or if you're born around 20th of December, you'll feel this like a major phase ending in your life. For the rest of you, that might have already happened in parts, and now some sort of conclusion of sorts, some sort of last scraping away is happening. If there were certain last bits of your previous life that were not resolved, that were not let go, this is a chapter ending, especially a chapter in your financial destiny ending and a new one starting, where the key to success will be to merge your creativity, to merge your talents with somebody, and to not feel scared to charge for your talents, to charge for your creativity. This very bold aspect, which is called a D-square in astrology, it is coming with certain very, very supportive aspects. The first aspect is that Venus and Mars are working together. So what is in your heart? Venus is sort of increasing your charm, increasing your likability, increasing your beauty as well in the course of this month, all the way to 3rd of February, you are charm central. And because of which this is a great month, by the way, to make any beauty changes. If you have any kind of hairstyle changes, diet life changes, physical changes that you want to make, all the way till 3rd of February. It's a great time to do that. But this aspect specifically is a very romantic aspect. It's exact on 18th of December, but you'll feel it during the weekend as well. Especially if you're born around 3rd of December, or if you have any planets around 11th degree of Sagittarius, you'll feel it very, very strongly. But more importantly, in your core, you would feel the drive, the courage to get what you truly want, whether it is in your personal life or in your professional life. It's giving you the physical drive to actually go after it. This is our mojo bag, this is our libido bag, this is our creativity bag, this is our romance, the risk-taking appetite bag, the whole package that Sagittarius are known for. Feeling yourself in the skin, feeling that you are back in your body, that kind of a thought process, that kind of feeling that you get, that is what comes after 18th of January. Even to the end, that there might be some amount of, we need to be careful about substance use. I've already said that, not repeated, but if you have any planets between 5th to 8th of December, being careful about the chemical exposure at this time. Mercury and Pluto work together. If there is any financial documentation, any sort of financial ideas, the deep insight on how to earn more money, that coming through and that being put to action, because your mind is focused, your mind is very, very strong right now, and it is focused on financial aspects, on commercial aspects. Then we have Mars and Saturn moving together. There might be some conflict around 19th to 21st. After 19th of January, we need to be careful because the energy will become over the top a little bit. Moon will be in Cancer on 19th and 20th. And on 21st, we have a very, very significant and powerful eclipse. And the eclipses come with high amount of intensity. When we have a total lunar eclipse, Earth blocks the light of the moon. And as we know, that affects the tension level that the fluid surface feels. So the tension level on the fluids is increased, and we are largely fluids. So the tension in our body will increase with that. That is just how it happens when a Leo eclipse happens, or an eclipse of this intensity happens. This is a super blood moon, full moon eclipse, which means that the moon will be closest to the earth at this time. It will be full. So you'll see the moon in full glory. Sun and moon will be opposite to each other. They'll be opposing forces, which will be pulling you in two different directions. But something significant will come out of it. Some culmination of sorts, some conclusion will come out of it. Some fruition will come out of it. And it is coming with North Node. So something karmic will come to you. And that is happening in your area of travel, education, adventure. Something new is starting for you that will take you places, and this new that is starting is coming out of your sheer ambition. It is a positive aspect with you. It is a result of you working on something for the last 1.5 years in the area of education, in the area of travel, in the area of certification. Some talent you've been working on, now finally that is coming to a conclusion in form of either you getting a certification, or you sort of being able to use that in the job, and you getting some sort of offer as a result of that, or some sort of a life direction changing, shifting because of your skill set, because of your work, a very inspirational and energizing direction that you're going towards that is more truthful to you. And this is happening in your own house. Ninth house is the house of Sagittarius, the house of adventure, the house of travel, the house of knowledge, the house of living fully, living authentically, living using our talents and our full potential. That's where it is happening. So you'll feel it very, very strongly. Even if, from an astrological aspect, normally eclipse is felt around the degrees where it is happening. This is happening at the early degree of Leo, which means that if you have your early degree of Sagittarius, which means that if you're born in the early part of Sagittarius, which is around end November, if you're born around end November, you'll feel this eclipse very, very strongly. But I think because of the degree at which it is happening at a critical degree. 1 degree of Leo is a sheer outburst of our personal power and potential. Something significant has to happen, and almost every degree is being covered by one or the other positive aspect right now. So some significant change is supposed to happen, and this eclipse is being squared by Uranus, which means that our creativity, our risk-taking appetite, our ability to make the shift, the turmoil that we have gone through, this is sort of the result and the positive outcome, the good karma that is coming out of us debunking the fake, us leaving the things that were not true to us behind. This is sort of the remuneration of that. This is the result of all of that shake-up essentially coming to us. As I said, the eclipse of Leo of this intensity can be a little bit of a tense period. So being careful of your physical energy on 20th and 21st of January, keeping yourself hydrated. If you are in any area which is prone to power surges, whether it is because there is a power plant over there or you're using heating devices, being careful of heat in general, both in your body and outside your body. Being careful if you are in an area where earthquakes or flooding are known to happen, because this is associated with a Soros series, a series of eclipses that last happened when the earthquake in Haiti happened in South of America. I'm sorry to say that, but that is the geology of the eclipse. This is a part, all the eclipses are part of a series, and they repeat in the same area with a similar influence that they did last. And this is a part of Soros series 134, which is 19-year metonic cycle. So the last time this eclipse happened was on 21st of January 2000. If you know what happened in your life in 2000, in the early part of 2000, what kind of shifts happen either in your area of education, in your area of philosophy, in your area of overall tools that you need to grow in your career, you can look back at the time and see what really happened. But if not, maybe looking closer down, what was created in 2008 and 9, when last time we had South Node in Leo, something was reduced at the time in 2008 and 9. For example, Leo rules financial industry. In 2008 and 9, financial industries underwent recession, and the rules were sort of at the time put in place to reduce the size of the financial industry. We might see the modification on those regulations this year to grow the financial industry. So the reversal of what was done in 2008 or 9, if something was taken away, right now giving you something in that area, because this is a eclipse of giving you something to help you in your future growth, in your future career growth especially. There are a few other things that I like you to just consider from a health perspective. If there's any ailment related to heart health, I'll like you to be a little bit careful. For example, if we have high blood pressure, any kind of surges, as I said, we need to be careful about power surges within our body, temper issues, heat flaring up, migraines, spinal cord and back issues. These are sensitive points. It doesn't mean that we'll have something in that area, but these are sensitive during the eclipse. So taking care of that, not eating super hot foods that are heaty for our body, keeping ourselves hydrated at the time. And if we are in any area which is prone to flooding, earthquake, or even public protests, being careful of being in that kind of area. It affects the stock market, it affects the financial industries. Leo rules these things. Leo rules the banking industry. So there will be stock market volatility, which also comes with Uranus. So because you have a lot of focus on the financial area, there's a possibility of positivity being given to this industry as well, to the banking industry, while real estate, the first eclipse was taking away something, and that influences the real estate market. So dampening of real estate market and probably growing of banking industry going forward could be a possible side effect of this eclipse. But I'm not a mundane astrologer, as I am telling you what I know. You should follow your own financial advice as much as possible. Looking at the aspects that are happening with it, because they're beautiful fire aspects happening as a follow-up to that eclipse that will help you implement this start, that will implement this adventure, this growth that is coming your way. Some sort of legal matter might be concluding as well, which is sort of coming to a conclusion, and finally your adventure can begin, the fun can begin. This is a sort of you going into something that is full of your faith, your philosophy, your brand of creativity, your brand of leap of faith. And it is giving you more knowledge, it is giving you more freedom. This is you feeling yourself in your skin. But more importantly, Venus and Jupiter are coming together in your sign on 22nd of January. This is the first time that this is happening in 12 years. This is a very benefic aspect. It's happening at 16 degree. So if you're born around 8th of January, this is a beautiful aspect to have. This is your wishes coming true. This is an opportunity of lucrative nature coming your way. And more importantly, Mars, our courage, our action is corroborating with this. So we are sort of acting on this opportunity right away and making it happen. From 22nd to 28th, you might be busy in making that opportunity happen. If you have your own business, it could be the business speculative gains in the business happening. If this is a new relationship, a new romance coming your way, this would be the next step in that. This would be the positivity in that, and it's all in positive aspect with you happening around 16 degree, which is around 8th of December born. There might be certain, apart from some sudden financial aspects, there might be certain sudden communications and information coming your way, which will help you. So be on lookout for that between 22nd to 24th of January as well. There's an aspect that I'd like you to be careful about that's happening on 1st of February. Mars is making a square with Pluto, which is beautiful from feeling the power perspective, but it might cause some power struggles either in your with your business partner or with your love partner. So being careful in terms of getting engaged in any kind of conflicts which are useless in nature. Just being careful of that around 28th, 29th, all the way to 3rd or 5th of February, early part of February. But you'll get really busy because Mercury and Sun will come together in your commercial house and your house of communication from 29th of January onwards. This is a very, very busy period. You'll be busy all the way till middle of February, in my view, in communicating and traveling and sort of working on this new commercial start that you're having and making it all happen. So that's the gist of it. I hope you find it useful. This is a beautiful ending, a beautiful next 6 months that we are looking forward to, with both of these eclipses turning out and making your new commercial and financial destiny, and I hope in the process bringing some joy and love in your life. So good luck for that, and I hope to talk to you in February next. Thank you.